All right, Andrew Easton here with the ESUCC, and I am so grateful to Jen McNally of ESU5 for joining us as we're going to have a conversation about social emotional support programs for educators, parents, caregivers, and students. We're not going to cover all of those in this one video, but Jen has been gracious enough to talk about multiple topics, so make sure you check out everything underneath this particular subtopic on our page. And so, Jen, welcome, and thanks for joining us to have this conversation about some of those resources your group's put together.
Yeah, thank you so much for inviting me. And like you said earlier, we definitely can't capture everything because I love talking about social emotional learning and mental health. So I could probably speak all day about that. So I'm going to do Cliff Note versions for you, Andrew, today.
Good, good. And we're going to share some resources over too. So the first one you can access at bit.ly/wellness printable, and that's capital W, capital P. And when people go there, Jen, what have you kind of collected for our administrators to access? And we'll bring that up on the screen while you're talking about it.
Yeah, so this folder is something where anything that I have ever seen that's been impactful about mental wellness, that speaks to mental wellness, that whether you want to print out for in your building or you want to send out an email or you want to post on any of your social media outlets, we wanted to have really readily available, tangible, and powerful printables that you can utilize. And so this is a collection of just all the things throughout the years that I have created. And then when I present even on educators' wellness, all of those strategies that I talk about during that presentation. And so we wanted to put it all in kind of one spot. And it's also cool because we add to this folder throughout the year. So you'll always have different and new and whatever you might feel might be impactful.
Well, that's terrific that you keep it updated. And so as an administrator, getting a chance to just kind of access some of those, and whether that's something you send, like you said, an email or post or share it out in a staff meeting, it's great to have those pieces on hand. Speaking of staff, we're also going to talk a little bit in this video about identifying staff, right? And so how do we know when our teachers, what they're feeling and when maybe this is becoming a little overwhelming for them? It is overwhelming for all of us, but I mean in particular when they're really starting to hit those rough patches. And so if you'd share the resource that we have, the You Matter check-in, we'll kind of feature that here as well.
So whether we're in a pandemic or not, we know through data and research that teaching can be very difficult at times. It can be exhausting on your mental health and on your physical health, but also being administrator can be taxing also, and wondering what the next step is and wondering, the unknowns. And so we really want to work on during this time of so many things that we go through, whether we're in remote learning and in person or doing both, that shifting of mindset to the what ifs, to the what is, and making sure that we are checking in with all of those things we're doing that are exciting and excellent and wonderful and sparking joy within our buildings. And so checking in with our educators, this is a format that we came up with where you can make a copy of that, make it your own type of questions, things that resonate with you that you want to know more about, and accessing that for your educators so you can check in with them. Just as we do regularly with our students, we also need to make sure that our educators are feeling mentally well and that they're getting the supports that they need to be successful in what their roles are.
Yeah, as you're kind of talking through that, I can hear in there that, right, we're gonna be intentional. We're gonna have these opportunities for communication, and once you get that feedback, I think it kind of shifts then to how do we know that we're able to meet those needs once we've acknowledged them, right? And so we can't, again, speak to everything in the matter of a few moments here, but what are some ideas for administrators regarding just kind of getting a sense of whether these pieces are effective or not in their implementation?
Well, I think what you'll find is that people will tell you, every administrator knows their people in their building. They've hired for those people specifically for their talents and the things they bring to their culture and climate in their building. And so one, I just think with those relationships, you'll have a good indicator if it's working, but also when you get that feedback, how much feedback are you getting? And then, you get the data, but then it's what we do with the data. What will we do to help in some of those areas where people are kind of feeling stuck? Or maybe if you go back to those resources, maybe there's some visuals there that connect with some of your educators. I mean, the cool thing about mental wellness is that it doesn't take these big things. It doesn't take spending lots of money. You can do simple things, just even in that printable of the 3 things you're proud of that you did today? What are some of our successes in the midst of so much, you know, worries and stress? And so I think that that's one way to capture it.
Yeah, and culture is something that you can also just feel, like you said, when those things, those shifts start to happen. And I just so appreciate just the idea of being intentional, and all you can do is just create avenues for that kind of conversation to happen. And by creating that open environment, hopefully people are able to really connect and share and feel like they belong. Like I said on, I'll throw it up there one more time, the You Matter check-in. So Jen, thank you for your time today. Thank you for the resources that you've put together. You can find all of these, not only at the link shared in this video, but on this page. And so check this out in addition to the other resources we've provided as we're trying to support administrators across Nebraska with this work.
Yeah. Thank you for all you do, everybody.